my Mercurial Mercenaries, part 2. In part 1 I spoke about how blues, rock was such an influence on all guitar players. Yes, you've got jazz players and you've got the people who use classical influences, your Indie Malmsteens and your progressive rock, but on the whole, blues dominates. I suppose it's the roots of the guitar is blues, you know, you can see why it happens. But point number 2 in the downfall of trying to be original is the over-reliance on scales that you learn when you're young. So it does hark back to point 1. And this isn't just about having a go at people for learning scales. I wish I knew so much. I wish I understood. I wish I knew more scales. I wish I truly understood modes. I wish I knew musical theory. I am not preaching here. I'm just trying to give anti-advice here regarding being original on the electric guitar. And the problem is, if you keep falling back on the pentatonic scale, it throws you in a lot of trouble. You can't help but... You know what I mean? If you only know certain scales, you will end up using them. It's a variation of the muscle memory thing. But the difference here is there is a way to overcome point number 1, which links in with point number 2, which is if you tune your guitar to something other than standard tuning, you suddenly can't use any of your muscle memory tricks because that won't work. That won't work. You know what I mean? None of this will work. The pentatonic scale will make no sense. You'll play it in a non-standard tuning and you suddenly can't play it. And it suddenly becomes about what you want to hear, not what your hands automatically play. And once you just mess with the tuning pegs, put it into anything else other than standard tuning, you have to decide what notes you want to use in a chord, because the chord shapes, your G, your C, your D, your D minor, don't work. You have to make choices about what notes you want in those chords, where you're going to stretch your hand to get those notes. Even if you don't know musical theory, it doesn't matter, because you can have like a dreamscape in your head of what you want to hear, and you can make it happen. And when it comes to soloing or creating any kind of melody in an alternate tuning, it means that you actually have to think about what you're not just going to put the notes for the scale, which will tend to be the pentatonic bloody scale. You put notes that you want to put in there, and suddenly the world is your oyster. I hate that phrase, but the world is your oyster. So when it comes to making music using a guitar, making music that's more original, I suggest, my personal thing, is tune your guitar to something other than standard tuning and just roll with it. I, for one, I only tuned this to standard tuning for this video, but I, for one, intend to really not have this guitar in standard tuning anymore. It's always going to be in something else. I kind of want to invent a tuning, like a Robert Fripp style thing, but for the moment I think I'll stick it in G. And when I got this guitar, it was only yesterday, I got it, I immediately put it into G, yeah, your Keith Richards kind of tuning, and I came up with a song there and then, inspired by a new guitar, and because I couldn't use any of my old tricks, and I couldn't use pentatonic. There's more than 5. Alright? Now, I'm just going to play that song for you, bearing in mind that it's going to change before it goes on the album, and I've already got some lyric ideas to it and a lyric melody. I think this all might be good. But anyway, I'll just play it for you now. A very first run through of a brand new Mercurial No. 6 song inspired by the Telecaster 1972 Deluxe. I thank you very much, my mercenaries. You see me drop the pick during that? Fumble around and still catch it? Suck on that!